Hello everyone and welcome to episode 8. The first thing that we can do today is assemble the solar array controller tier 2. Oh, whoops. There we go. Now to be honest, this one still doesn't produce a crazy amount of RF per tick. 4000 is a huge upgrade to what it was previously with like 800 or so, but it is still not anything crazy. Now does this connect? It does. So, we will have to wait until I can make the tier 3 one. Now, for the tier 3, we need the Grand Magic Crystal. However, I am currently preparing everything for the Wizardry Combiner multi-block, so that hopefully shouldn't be a problem for much longer. But we might have to run it without the Chironite tier solar panels because, as I said, this one takes Adamanite, so we will have to wait for that one. However, it should also just produce a ton of power even with just the tier 2 solar panels. If we take a look here, the tier 3 one will do 16,000 RF per tick. So that would be very, very nice and quite useful. Now, I am not sure if we can already upgrade it further. Right, it was this one. So this one is pretty doable. We already have everything besides the Palladium, which is just the next tier of Void Ore Miner, which we can do in today's episode. And Dreadlands Gems. Dreadlands Gems are annoying because I really don't like MeatBallCraft, but they are not crazy hard at the very least. So for it, we need the Sterilized Sacrificial Altar. This is pretty doable, to be honest. Like, the main thing about these Dreadland gems are just that we need to do everything in the MeatBallCraft progression. So I will have to see when I'm going to do that because I really don't enjoy the mod. But yeah, I will get to it. Another thing that I have done is prepare everything for 4 stacks of Yellorium reactor casing. Now, to be honest, this recipe is pretty alright. I mean, it takes a lot of resources, but it is okay all in all. However, I am not quite sure how much of these I am going to need, so I might have to craft some more off-cam. However, that I obviously won't show you. Of these, the only thing that we weren't easily able to get is the steamed slime and the nether tokens. For the nether tokens, we simply spawned in a bunch of these wither wizards with a mob duplicator. And for the steamed slime, we just had to set up a railcraft boiler with a fluid transposer next to it. But these are very simple, just takes a ton of different alloys and processing time. I have already saved everything that we need for the Yellorium reactor, and everything else has EMC, so I will quickly build the reactor, craft everything left, and I'll be back then. Alright, I am done building up the reactor. Now I'm not sure if the export thingy will automatically export, so I will just try it out. But yeah, this is basically done. This is a 7x7 with so 5x5 internal. I have 8 control rods with not Enderium, Draconium cooler blocks, and yeah, now we can try it out. I mean, I don't have enough Yellorium on me right now, but we can take a look. The heat doesn't really seem to go any higher anymore, so that is great. Now, yeah, I don't have enough fuel in it right now. So yeah, let me grab that real quick, and then I will be back. Well, I just realized that I stopped recording, and I'm not quite sure at what point, so I will just say everything again. So, now that we have it filled up, these stats look significantly different. it just burns through more fuel, which is good. It also produces more RF, which together with the solar panel has now doubled our RF production. Right now I'm trashing it because I wasn't sure if it would stop the production of waste. But yes, we have some yellorium in here, and we are producing waste. The first one I have taken out already. This waste is used in plutonium and then ludicrite. And ludicrite is used to ludicrite is used to further progress in the pack. So that is very nice to get now. It will take a long while until we get to a point where we can actually get a usable amount of ludicrite, but it's still good, so I'm happy. And after a teeny tiny bit of organizing, we now have a drawer wall in place. So that is very nice. These four are obviously what we're mainly going for. However, as you might be able to see, this is significantly quicker. This took me like 10, maybe 15 minutes because I also had to do something else really quick. And I've already gotten 16 of these palladium crystals. So that is fantastic. Now, I'm not sure how much this modifier increases the energy cost, so I will just make one for the time being and take a look. One luck modifier later, and it doesn't seem to take that much extra, so that is very nice. I might replace the rest with luck modifiers as well, but I will think about that. But yeah, we now have this thing in the next tier, so that is very nice. And it just produces a lot more, so that is fantastic. Now, I don't have any processing of these ores in place yet. What I am doing is quadrupling the platinum, the mana-infused alloy, and nickel. But the rest I haven't processed yet, really. Well, I guess I did process the draconium blocks and the prosperity shards, and the dimensional shards as well, but those are like the main ones that I need right now. The rest I don't really care about processing right now. So yeah, I will see how I will, do things going forward. But yeah, a tier 3 Void Ore Miner. Very nice. Alright, I spent yesterday not really recording anything. However, that doesn't mean I haven't been busy, because I have set up what is going to be one of the most important automations early game. That being early game ingots. Or well, most of the ingots or alloys that I could make, to be honest. So all of this is one block away from the walls. And to be honest, like explaining everything would be absolutely insane. So I will just say some of the more interesting things. That being the ones, like there are ingots that take older ingots. For example, this one takes end steel takes dark steel. So what I've done for these is I have put an inventory downgrade or a storage downgrade in them. And I've also added a few stack upgrades. So this drawer is limited to 768. As you can see. The same thing is for this one. So after this one is at 768 and this one is full, it will finally start storing dark steel, which I have to say is not the greatest system, but yeah, I mean, this is a passive thing, so it will fill up eventually. Then the ones that aren't relying, or well, the basic ones that don't need a storage downgrade because they would otherwise eat up all the ingots from another one, have a single storage upgrade tier 5. I don't think any one of them is full for the time being, but some are probably getting close. Right. So for example, this one, pulsating iron, is used in both ender ingots. this one does only have one stack upgrade, because I didn't think I would need much more. It is also used in the pulsating crystals, and thus also in the grains of piezoality. And the grains of piezoality are also used in crystalline alloy, I think it's called. Yes. So this took a good while until the pulsating iron was finished. But it is slowly but surely filling up now, so that is fantastic. Now on this side, I have automated everything, or well, all the major alloys of nuclear craft. So we have ferroboron, tough alloy, extreme alloy, hard carbon, and this one is graphite. And up here we also have lithium diboride or something like that. Magnesium diboride. And yeah. This room will be so useful and will save me so much time. So that is why I wanted to set it up early. Now, how does it work? It basically has a single compressed refined EMC link that will output everything needed. It also has like, I don't know, 5 conduit faces, I believe, that have max output speed, just to make sure that everything fills up in time. Nothing is empty for too long. And yeah, all the cabling happens in the back. Everything is using NRIO cables because they're fantastic. I do not auto input to the top because I can't really, set priorities, or not as far as I'm aware. So I have a conduit in the back that outputs and puts into the drawer on top with a lower priority, and puts in this one that makes end steel on a higher priority. So that is how I, ordered everything. I've also made myself a hand framing tool because it's just entirely too useful. So that is what I'm going to make use of for the future. I've also made a drawing machine, and while I haven't used it to cover this one up, in the back I have some here, because I need an extra output on the compressed EMC link. So yeah, I think I will soon build the ceiling to it, and then this one room is actually pretty nicely done. Over here we have the drawer controller. Now it is covered up right now. If I break this block, we can see it. And this one will be used for a storage bus in the future, once I have started cabling everything. Now, this took quite a long time, because I had to make all the alloy smelters, I had to route everything properly, and so on. So my void ore miner is basically done with the production. I think I still have the time in the video to actually level it up. But yeah, as you can see, I have quite a lot now of everything. So this should be almost double what I need for the next tier. The next tier is also very cheap though. So I will see you once I have done that. See you later. Alright, I should have everything for our void ore miner tier 4 now. So let me assemble that. These take longer and longer to assemble, it's actually kind of crazy. You would think that they would speed up the assembling process, but I guess not. Now, is it assembled? It is. It is starting to take a lot of RF per tick. I will have to see how the energy reservoir handles it. I might have to remove one of the modifiers. But yeah, I will look into that. But yeah, like now it's down to 19 ticks, and it does have 2 lock modifiers, so that is fantastic. Now, considering that all my drawers are locked, I will quickly place this down for the ionite crystals, which we have our first of now. Considering that nothing else should be new, I can take you away now. And yeah, now we wait for the ionite crystals to fill up, and then we can further upgrade the void ore miner. To be honest, upgrading this thing has kind of become a chore, because I spend so much time doing other things that this filling up is kind of natural anyways. So, so like disassembling it and upgrading and then reassembling everything is kind of annoying, but once we're done, like once we are at the highest tier, we are good anyways, so might as well go for it. But yeah, ionite crystals, they are a tinker's material. I am not sure how strong they are. Um, they're a horrible handle. What? 0.9? Okay. They're not a bad head, but I have better head materials. However, I think I recall it being somewhat good in one of these two. Anyways. So yeah. Now, for those who may have noticed, I have had these patterns up here for forever. The main problem with these is that you need to complete everything magic to get it. So you need spirit string, which is annoying, but a definitely very doable rabbit hole. Yeah, I mean, it won't take that much time. It also takes a celestial crystal, which is also very easy. The main problem is ineffable light. I honestly have no idea how to get it. I will just assume that I need all 4 of these things. These 2 I already have. This one is very quick to get once you go into the Twilight Forest. This one might take a little while longer. I'm currently looking into all things Thaumcraft. I've almost got all the research needed for the really scary V-Shroom, which will unlock all of the research, which I am going to use because I can't be bothered to do the research. I'm sorry, Damware. But yeah. However, before I use the V-Shroom, I would really like to get my hands on one of the Warp Cleansers. Maybe not the Omathol one, because, you know, the recipe is pretty expensive, especially because it needs stuff that I don't have yet. And it also needs a multi-block and so on. So this will probably have to wait, but I would like to have the, the Dreading Warp Cleanser. And I think there's another warp cleanser that also helps with temporary warp, so that is what I would like to do. However, for that, I have to venture into MeatBallCraft dimensions. And I'm not really looking forward to that, but I might have to just go for it and stop putting it off. But I will have to see what I'm going to do at what point in time. So yeah, just keep in mind that that is something that I will do in the near future. The next thing that I have prepared is the multi-block Wizardry Combiner. This one will be used for the solar panel tier 3. Because I need to get the Grand Wizard's crystals or whatever they are called, and this is the only way to actually craft them. So let me take a look, or let me show you. Because we need the Grand Magic Crystal, and this one is a Wizardry Combiner. So having, like, this thing assembled will make it so much easier for me to actually get that. They're not used for a crazy amount of things, but I do still think that it is nice to have. Now, this craft, I have everything but the Grand Magic Crystal. Now, to make the Grand Magic Crystal, we need one of each type of crystal here. And these can all be crafted, technically. For example, this one is Starlight Infusion. Or you can use an imbuement altar. You can also imbue a block, which will save you the spectral dust. So this is what I have been doing for the blocks needed in the multi-block. Now, to be honest, the spectral dust is not exactly hard to find, because something that I only found out later is that duping the remnants, of which there are spawners in the overworld, dupes them in all of their different variations. I initially thought that I would have to find one of each spawner, but that wasn't the case. I can just spawn them in, and they will always give me all the different dusts. So with that, getting these crystals is quite easy. Now, as far as I am aware, I cannot break the imbuement altar. So I always have to come here. However, they can be found just randomly in the overworld, so that is what I've been using them for. To actually imbue, you need 4 receptacles. These all have EMC, and you just do this. And it plays this nice little animation and transforms the block. There we go. Now I will... Nope, wrong one. But yeah, this takes a little while. I will not show everything. I just wanted to show where I actually got them from, because the crafts are significantly more expensive. So, yeah. Pretending that that isn't a thing, or pretending that I actually made them in their other ways wouldn't be right. So this is quite simple, as you can see, and it doesn't take that long. You just have to find it in the overworld. So I will see you later once we can actually make the grand magic crystals. For some strange reason, the item in and output are at the bottom. So I will have to be below the stage. But with everything put in now, we should now get our first grand magic crystal. Very nice. So I will now use this to upgrade our solar panel. And now with this last craft, we can make our solar array tier 3. Now to actually set it up, I will have to move it a little bit further away from the void ore miner, because it is starting to get bigger and bigger, and I don't really want to interfere, like have the two to interfere. So let me do this real quick. I don't know the center, but we need like, it's a 9 by 9 in the end. So this should be fine. We can place the controller, grab the assembler, and probably stay underneath. Now, unfortunately, I can only use tier 2 solar cells right now, because the higher tier 1 needs me to get into Thaumcraft. However, this does produce, I think, pretty much double the amount of power that it did before. So if we take a look in the energy sources, you can take a look at the exact power, 16,000. And this one is 4,000. Could have sworn it was more. But yeah, doesn't matter. We now have 16,000 extra RF per tick, and now we are starting to outrun my own energy needs, which is fairly nice. We're not there yet, because if I really want to outrun my energy needs, I would like to run one of the multi-blocks at full speed, the Terragenic Mythical Void Resource Miner. But that will have to take a little while, because it eats up 20,000 RF per tick, which is like the production of this one, and then some of my dynamos, or no, this one and this one combined. So that will have to wait a little while. But now we can also add the flux plug. And this should be connected, and we have the power set up. Very nice.